his points have started to fall a little bit. I think just like as you're getting up there in age, it's tough to
games getting so much younger.
It's tough with the movement at that level, and just
but he's also a full-time attorney.
So like there's the amount of time he's putting into pickleball. I mean, just where the game is, you have to put so much more time into pickleball that you see like some of these newer guys, and they're putting in 6 hours, 8 hours a day. And that's where it gets tricky. Like with Tyson, he did a great job because he was in a little earlier where he can do content, do all these things, and still be at the top of the game. Where now that trade-off of the pickleball on the business side is like, that trade-off is so much tougher because you don't want to lose that edge, because obviously winning is what makes you relevant. But you also want to build that brand. And so finding that balance now is so much tougher. And it's kind of a fun problem to tinker with. And sometimes you go over too much one way or the other way.
I want to hear you expand on that, because I've seen that from a competitive video game perspective. So again, listeners may not know this. I won't spend much time on it, but I grew up playing a video game professionally, made no money doing it, turned gaming off, and went into finance, got my career going, and maybe 7 or 8 years into my career, professional gamers started to make real money. Whether it's Counter-Strike or League of Legends. But what I found over time, even to now, is the competitors do well, the content creators do great. And obviously the numbers are a little disparate in terms of like how many competitors there are versus like big time creators. But like, how are you thinking about the balance between creating content and brand and all these things versus just locking in on pure competitive element?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's fine. Like it's tough. Like there's kind of I'd put 3 components. One more that's not as relevant in gaming, but correct me if I'm wrong, just injury prevention and like the strength side of things. And so there's playing, which you gotta, like, that's like the bedrock of everything. You gotta win, and that allows you to kind of leverage that. I mean, PPA is one of the biggest like free marketing for any of its players, because if you're winning on that, you're getting seen by hundreds of thousands of people. So that's kind of what like has got to be the first bucket. Then injury prevention and strength is one of the buckets that I have kind of struggled with, like finding that balance between that and like creating these things. Ultimately, being able to set up certain things that are kind of self-sufficient is key. But to do that, you got to spend a lot of time on that. Like I almost am working 2 full-time jobs of like playing pickleball, and then I get done at like 4, and then from 4 to 2 a.m. I'm doing the content side, like editing videos, all this stuff. And I mean, I've even thought about like, and I'm sure the financial advice here, you can say this would have been a terrible idea, but I was like, there's got to be some way that someone could invest in me, like create like a business that is just like the marketing of me, and keep it like separate from like sponsors and playing. And then use that to fund all this. So it's not me personally spending that time there and making it a little bit more efficient. But finding that balance is so key.
So I'll touch on the second part. First thing, you talk about injury prevention. In gaming, it's actually very much so relevant, because you think about like carpal tunnel and wrist injuries and eye strain and mental fatigue. It sounds like the competitive demand is similar in terms of the amount of hours and wear and tear. As far as the like almost seeing yourself as an investment opportunity, believe it or not, like there are a lot of content creators out there that are kind of incubated in a way, and almost like a VC style investment, where they have teams behind them, small to large, that help them sort through like what brand deals they're taking and what type of co-investment they're doing and how they're posturing themselves on stream, and what networking opportunities they're kind of engaging in. And so like, I think in pickle there could be something there. I just don't know if the dollars that are flying around the ecosystem are sufficient to make it worthwhile for like an outside investment opportunity. But I would argue you have to find ways to like buy back time. Because like you said, the winning is important. It kind of drives everything else, because it brings the relevancy. And like, you might be a good creator,
Mhm.
You might be a decent editor. You
Yeah.
might be good at dealing with brands and that, but those are things that other people can do and
Yeah.
do well. Versus not everybody can hit a TUI like you, and not
Yeah.
everybody can win, and not everyone can be as gregarious and engaging with their
Mhm.
students and like creating this school and like actually drawing eyeballs, right? And so like
Yeah.
try to in gaming we talk about like min maxing and like where do you
Mhm.
invest your skill points. For you, my counsel would be very much so like put those skill points where your advantage is greatest,
Yeah.
and then farm out the rest. Which I know sometimes is hard because like you're losing money on the front end
Mhm.
and you're trying different things. What works? Did I get this right? Did I get this wrong? Kind of thing. But yeah, I have to imagine that's like a constant struggle of trying to figure out where to balance, where to invest time.
Yeah, and I think with that, like it's school. Why school is so exciting is because the upfront load is a lot of time,